All right, you guys, my headphones are in. I am ready to I'm ready to get it started here. Let me just get one of our last speakers up onto the stage here. And while we're waiting, just we'll do a little bit of a little round of intros with everybody. So I guess I'll start it off. My name's Alex. I'm the BD and community guy over here at Footprint Analytics. So in case you guys don't know what Footprint Analytics does or what we are pretty much a data infra that combines Web 2 and Web 3 data together via abstraction layers. And we have some pretty cool product suites. We have free APIs for you guys to use. I know Eric has been all about that. We also have some a zero coding analytics platform. We have growth analytics, which really helps users harness their data both on chain and off chain to get targeted metrics that really help them grow. Great for games, great for launchers, great for ecosystems. And then stay tuned because we have a couple more products coming out as well before the end of the year. We have a gaming SDK, which we're really excited about, and we have an investment AI as well. So if you guys are interested in trying out our investment AI, think ChatGPT for crypto, let us know. I would love for you to try out the alpha version when it's ready. All we ask is you give us some feedback. And with that being said, that's enough about Footprint. Let's pass it over to the rest of our speakers. And let's start with Vitalis from Laddertop. How's it going, buddy?
Hello, Alex. Everything is good. How about you? Doing Plate Spaces again, right?
Dude, I love having you on our spaces, bud.
Yeah, so that's Vitalis. I'm building Ladder. Ladder is NFT AMM for GameFi. If you wish, Uniswap for NFTs for games. So we're solving the problem of liquidity for games, and AMM is likely the best technology to utilize for in-game assets because in-game items are, even if they're sort of non-fungible, many of them in reality are partially fungible, I would say. And with AMM, users are getting instant liquidity, so no need to list their items. All transactions can be done in one click with probably 90% less commissions, and AMM can be integrated into game directly. So for users, no need to go to third-party website or even open UTEP. So a bunch of advantages for games specifically. And recently we had our first marketing campaign, what was pretty successful. Our partner had over 5,000 NFTs minted, and we also had pretty significant user growth and transaction growth. So yeah, heading to mainnet launch very soon, and happy to be here, Alex. Thank you for having me.
Like I said earlier, it's always a pleasure to have you on, Vitalis. Next, I'm going to pass it over to Dojewalk. Thanks for joining the space. First time seeing you in one of our spaces. So very fired up to have you here.
Thank you, Alex. Such a pleasure to be here. Yeah, it's my first time, and I'm sure won't be the last time. Vitalis actually asked me to join, so it's really a pleasure to be here and sharing and learning from each one of you. So my name is Ella. I head up the business development side for Dodgewalk. And Dodgewalk is a play and earn game. I know we're going to talk about Web3 gaming. It's, of course, our favorite topic. And speaking of play and earn, I use and now play to earn is because we're trying to really change the model and make this space better. And obviously, we are called Dodgewalk, and we are a app for dog parents or pet parents to walk their dog. But at the same time, you could earn tokens and use those tokens for your dog as well. So in a way, your dog can work for themselves and earn a living, which is really cool. So I don't know how many people in the audience or among the speakers have dogs. I do. I've always had dogs growing up. Every day I have to walk them, right? I told Vitalis the other day that I have to walk my dog 4 times a day, and he couldn't believe it. But that's true. Whether it's raining or snowing, I have to walk him. Because he has to do his business. It's great that during the walks I spend time with him, and the Dodge Walk app helped me and incentivized me and many other users to spend more time with their fur babies, and at the same time get tokens as rewards. And in a way, it's a social app as well, and you can get to interact with other pet parents as well. I think what makes us a little different is we are linked to the real economy. So I know later on we're going to talk about whether it's Web3 or Web 2.5 and mass adoption. We are right there. We literally are part of the pets industry, but also part of Web3. Because our tokens that you earn in game can be redeemed for real products. You can get food, you can get a dog toys, you can get dog food for your fur babies through walking your dog and spending time with them. So yeah, again, glad to be here and excited to get started with everyone.
I think that's great. I think it's about time. It's about time Fido kicked it back and kind of earned his keep over at the house. So I love it. I love it. Next, I'm going to pass it over to Lunar from Combo. Thanks for joining tonight.
Hey, thank you, Alex. Thank you for having us, for having me. And hello, everyone. This is Luna from Combo. I do take in charge of the whole partner growth here in the Combo. And it's quite pleasure for Combo and for me to be here. For those people who don't know Combo, I just give a short introduction. Actually, we build a game-focused layer 2 on BME chain, and we kind of like offering one-stop support for all those Web3 gaming projects. I think when I mentioned one-stop, you may thinking about the infra part, but not only for those on-chain infrastructure, but also actually we are offering those funds and ventures, and also we are quite open to offering all those community support to all our ecosystem partners and projects. And also, actually, we hope to build a chain which can matching developers' needs, and also for all those membership or players can enjoy all those games on a combo. So that's why we are here, and our mainnet will launch soon, November. So at this moment, I think it's very very nice for us to split it out and to let more people to know more about combo. And also we are quite opening to talk with all kinds of projects, and also we are quite open to talk these topics. I'm quite looking forward to share more thoughts on Web 2 and Web 3 gaming, since we have a lot of chance to talk with a lot of gaming projects right now. I think can't wait to share my thought with all of you guys. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Alex.
Let's go. We love Combo. Combo is one of Footprint's partners, so we're really happy to have you on. Next, I'm going to pass it over to Eric Abrahams, or as I call him, Esk Dev. What are you building? Tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. So first of all, thanks for inviting me to speak here, Alex. I know we've had some back and forth in the Discord, so it's interesting to kind of end up here right now. But yeah. So I work at Hulk Labs, a subsidiary of tokens.com, as one of the lead developers there. And we are building a gaming analytics dashboard. So a lot of overlap, obviously, with Footprint. And that's because, we're using Footprint as one of our primary data sources. So I encourage everyone who's interested, take a look. It's the yeti.gg. We can post it in Discord and tweet it out. But we've been working on this for quite a little while. We are also working on a game, and we've previously run a guild. So we've been deep into this space now for over a year and a half. And yeah, we just want to bring more visibility for users, players, investors, everyone to get a kind of one-stop shop, top-down view of what's happening with the active games in the space. And we're looking to continuously add features. We're in beta right now. But yeah, we have our own internal roadmap, but we're also really interested in everyone's feedback. So your feedback, the community's feedback. So feel free to reach out, comment, because we're working hard to increase feature set and just keep things rolling. So yeah, again, thanks for having me. Happy to speak today. Happy to speak on the product anymore, but also just to dive into some of these questions.
Sweet. Yeah, I am so stoked you're here, Eric, and Hulk Labs is here because I think the Yeti.gg is a great use case, and it showcases a lot of what you can do with footprints data and with our APIs. So, yeah, absolutely beyond stoked to have you here, bud. You guys are really killing it with the Yeti.gg. Next, we're going to pass it to Wise Kim. Wise Kim, welcome back 2 weeks in a row, buddy. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me here again. Actually, it's 12:30 a.m. in Korea, so like actually I've been late because I was almost in sleep. So yeah, anyway, like GM everyone, my name is Wise and I'm working at the Web3 incubator in Korea called Unopened, and we are basically a Web3 startup incubator powered by Hashed, and I'm working as a marketing manager there. So last week, I think I introduced myself, but not about my company. So, we are focusing on the entertainment and the gaming projects right now. So we are solely focused on the consumer app. Yeah, and looking forward to talk with awesome speakers today. Yeah, cheers.
Let's go, Kim. And last but not least, the Cats Lab. How's it going, Luca?
Hello, guys. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me here. I am really proud to be here tonight speaking about the lab with you all and learning a lot because I'm pretty sure that I will learn a lot today. And let me tell you a bit about the lab. The lab is an NFT project based on Solana blockchain. And the main objective is to connect the greatest number of people in a safe environment, in addition to the main purpose of create, of course, real opportunities and passive profit for our holders. Our goal is to reduce the risk for our investors. How? We are creating an organic network of founders, marginalizing those projects that are unclear or that in the long term could end up with a desired or unwanted failure. So our mission is to easily onboard as many people as we can into the digital economy by teaching them all they need to know to be safe and also advancing their already built talent. For example, we have a writer right now, so we are building something really cool for the future game you're gonna release. So I don't want to spoil too much. What I want to say there is we are a community-driven project. So that's it for the beginning, bro. Don't want to spoil too much.
Sweet. Happy to have you here. Project sounds really interesting, man. I gotta go take a deeper dive. Now, but with that being said, you guys, before we dive into the questions today, leave a comment, leave a retweet. Let's get your friends in here because we are about to dive right in. And with the first question, before we go, if you guys want like to answer the question, just put your hand up like this. If you're on the desktop, unfortunately, you can't put your hand up, so just be spamming emojis to let me know. But if you'd like to speak, just put your hand up like this, and then I will call on you. So the first question today is since the inception of gaming on the blockchain, we have seen many different models of Web3 gaming, right? From Ponzi-nomics of single token pay to earn games to to move to earn to X to earn, right? Whatever to earn, right? And to where we are now. So my first question is what blocks are games currently experiencing when trying to enter the blockchain?
I can start
Can I go?
with. Yeah, please go ahead.
Me? I go first?
Yes,
Yeah,
go
hit it.
first.
Okay. So I I took the. In my opinion, the blocks that we can experience, when we try to enter the blockchain game, can be the scalability or maybe the user experience. Um, Let me say that we can have maybe some games that are not smooth and intuitive, let's say, as a traditional game, so the Web2. Um, Let me say the complexity of onboarding, for example. It's not easy to onboard player in games like blockchains, player must set up, for example, digital wallet, manage keys, and understood concept that probably they are not familiar. What can we add? I think technical challenge. Probably you need blockchain-based game development, technical skills, not only in the game development, but also in the understanding of the decentralized dynamics of the blockchain. And these can be a technical complexity for developers, for example. So I can throw in some many other example for sure, but I'm just improvising. I'm trying to think about the point of view of a gamers that never been on the blockchain and a developers that never been in a blockchain ambient. I tried in my past to hire some blockchain, for example, Python developer, but people that never work in a blockchain ambient or never tried that Rust, for example, Solana, the Solana code, they really have issue by helping you doing or developing your idea. So I think the best block you can find is to onboard the people into the Web3 gaming, and plus run all the dynamics that a blockchain run, instead of a Web2 game, for example. You just have to download and play the game. For the blockchain, you have to do some step. We can try to put on the wood, you know what I mean? And try to make it simple, like the user interface for many, many applications. We can try to simplify as much as we can the interaction with the blockchain to try to onboard as much as we can. So let be side, not the main aspect of the gaming. I don't want to take too much the mic because you know what I mean? I can go forever.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. I think Ken really hit the nail on the head there when it comes to, really kind of embracing all of the dynamics of the blockchain while still making it very easily accessible, for example, with all the wallet integration and stuff like that. Dojwalk.
Thank you. Yeah, following your instructions to raise my hand. I just want to say I can't agree more. It's definitely the user experience that's one of the biggest blocks. But on top of that, yeah, so we all know there are, casual gamers and serious gamers in the gaming space, and of course there are, everyone in between. For the casual gamers, we think it's a little easier to onboard them into Web3, right? The serious gamers, we still have a long way to go. It's really about, how people find the game fun and not just to play for the economic gains. We all know that in the beginning, a lot of the Web3 players or users are here to do the, Web3 X to earn activities just to earn. But we really have to change that by changing our own product to make it more fun and more engaging for people to stay and become more sticky players. So we actually started in Web 2 only. We're Web 2.5 project, I have to say. We're not completely Web 3, we're not just Web 2, just because our unique positioning, in between the past industry and Web 3 industry. So we really started hammering on our product and make it really, really fun. So we design a lot of in-game, in-app mini games, and because of that, we really exploded. So we design a treasure hunt, and we issue Genesis NFT. We let people, really interact in-app, and we actually grew close to 200,000 users now. And in this market is a very good number, and we just started 3 months ago. At one point, our highest MAU is actually close to 40,000. We average around a couple thousand to like 10,000 right now. But yeah, I have to say the blogs here is a user experience. We have to make the game more fun, but of course, on top of that, we also need to have a business model, a real business model, not just a tokenomics model, but a business model for people to realize, this is not just in-game. This is not Web3 is not an isolated thing. It's linked to real economy, and that's what we're trying to do here.
I love it. And I love the fact you brought up, having a real business model. I think that is very super important for keeping retention and scalability as well. I think that's something that I haven't actually heard too much in these gaming spaces. So I'm happy you brought that up. Next, I'm gonna pass it over to Vitalis.
Yeah, many projects in Web3 space forgetting that it is actual business, not just Discord group. Yeah, actually, I just wanted to get back to the topic of casual gaming and probably more serious gaming. And I think that that's a matter of infrastructure from one angle as well, because professional gamers, it requires a lot of infrastructure to be developed around. First of all, I'm not sure whether there are such as complicated games that exist, and team games and other. And at the same time, there are no platform. Again, as was mentioned, for discoverability, that there is no kind of Steam. I know that there are projects that are trying to build something like that, but still, it is not very popular right now. And also infrastructure like for tournaments, sponsors, and stuff like that. So I think that usually for professional gaming, it should come together, and it is not here right now. So probably a bit more development, a couple of more years, or not even a couple, or even more, but still time will come.
Absolutely. Next, I see Wise Kim. Anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, as a lot of speakers said, the UX matters, but as a perspective of incubator, like working with the early stage projects, like most of the projects would like to have a Web3 native approach, while whether they wanna build a Web 2.5 games or like increasing the user experience. And what I found out is they are having huge problems of building or marketing themselves inside the Web3 ecosystem. So like they are having a hard time like building an audience. And I think this can be a one factor that, blocks games to enter into this blockchain scene. And and as it may be only applied to the Korea, but in Korea, gaming studio does not charge in communication or marketing, while publishers mostly take care of those business side, where the game studios trying to tap into Web3 market, having a hard problem, how we can build the audience, how we can market our projects. Yeah, so I think this point also can be a blocker. And also like a user acquisition perspective, during the bull market, X2R was a strong catalyst for user acquisition and retaining the users, but in this bear market, they are becoming the obstacles for game studios. Like most of them just follow the X Infinity models. It cannot bootstrap the users anymore. So creating the death spiral on the token price as well. So I think this kind of situation makes like game studios to hesitate entering this market.
Thanks, Kim. You really gave me the perfect transition for our second question, right? And that is X to earn really a necessary driving factor for adoption for Web3 games nowadays, or is the focus somewhat shifted? I think you gave a good answer to that one. But if anyone else here would like to add, Eric, feel free. But
Sure. So I think, I mean, obviously, as mentioned in the question, it ties into what you were saying. And I think, going back to the previous question, and leading into this one, part of the issue in the industry right now is perception. There isn't a great perception from the traditional gaming space. And a lot of that ties into the bull and bear dynamics of the market more broadly, but also this X to earn. And I think to get past it, and in the growing pain stages that we're in, game development is a hard and long process. And you can't just spin out games in just a year, 2 years, not high quality, comparable games to what other gamers have played throughout their lifetime. And I'm a lifelong gamer. I've been playing since I was very young, playing everything. And yeah, so I don't think X to earn is a necessary driving factor for adoption in the long term. I think playability, all the things that were mentioned by all the other speakers, right? Like playability, UX, onboarding, making this as seamless as possible, but leveraging the benefits of the technology behind the scenes. I think that is the path forward to driving not just short-term adoption like we see in a lot of games with these boom bust cycles, but with long-term adoption and long-term revenue generating games.
Thank you, Eric. Really nice thoughts there. Next, Luna.
Yeah, hello, thank you. I think everyone, all the speakers, has answered these questions very well already. Actually, when you asking these questions, I think there's several answers just jump into my mind. It's we always say in the like integration challenges and scalabilities. I even can remember this in my bones. I think every time we talk about this, I think we answer these questions with this one is from the view we're working in Web3. And also these days, I have a chance to talk more and more projects now. They are Web2 projects, and now they are ready to kicking off to Web3. And they are planning to developing some projects on Web3. Now I suddenly realized after I talked with them, I think there's one thing beyond all those questions or answers we answered before is I think first of all, you should respect the whole Web3 industry, which means you should have different mind. And you need to know, because I know a lot of Web2 gamers and developers, they have a lot of background and history and experience to build a very high quality games. But actually Web3 is totally different. I totally agree with all those projects all our speakers shared before. We mentioned like business mode is very, very important, and of course we need increasing the quality of the game. And also I totally agree, gaming is not a short-term things, so that's why Combo we make more effort to build this ecosystem together, because we know this is gonna be like working with the team together to build some fun games, and then maybe we can reaching some goals in the end. But before that, we need to know, okay, the whole system or the Web3 is totally different. It's related about the community, and it is really related about the tokenomics and the business mod. And then after you understand and you say the Web3 in different angle, and maybe part of them, you need to remove
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
a little bit your history in or your background experience in Web 2, and then you can easily, or maybe you can successfully to launching your projects on Web 3. And I think after that, all those technical problems or challenges and scalabilities, there's a lot of way to solving those kind of things. And also community stuff, and you need to say, okay, the Web3 community is totally different. What kind of operation or marketing ways to asking more people, users to get more exposure. I think those things as different is totally different. So I want to add more from my experience these days to talk with Web2 gaming projects, and they are ready to launching on Web3. So I gather some feedback and to share with you all.
Thank you, Luna. I always appreciate perspectives from the public chain side as well. I think you guys can really give some unique, there's some really unique takes that are really important for everybody to kind of listen and take hold of. So my next question for you guys is, I truly believe it's nearly impossible to make all genres of games completely decentralized while still maintaining effective gameplay changes and retention. So, where does complete decentralization work in on chain games, and why does it work? And is it necessary to go all in on decentralization in Web3 gaming? Mr. Kim.
Yeah, this is a super hot topic nowadays, like fully on-chain games, right? Yeah, I think the games cannot fully go on-chain right now because the fully on-chain game industry is still on the discovery phase. So like the Unity we have in the Web2 game development, the mod Dozo frameworks are being built on, and the Paradigm 1KX talking about like fully on-chain gamings, but the reason why the most of the games cannot go on-chain is uh like due to the tick rate and due to the trickiness of putting everything on-chain from the client to the server. There will be a meta game stagflation, and yeah, it means that not every games are fit into the fully on-chain game genre, because when you play the shooter game, the real-time sync is super important, but the current blockchain cannot hold this challenge. However, I have in mind that some part of games can have a really good fit with the fully on-chain gaming, like Minecraft or the Roblox, where the asset ownership and owning the world, or like infinite modding is possible, and the creators who are creating a lot of contents here, the fully on-chain gaming can be applicable. And another one is the dating simulation gaming, like the Japanese simulation games. Like, I think it has a perfect fit because the characters can be changed by the user's taste, and the storyline can be, created definitely through the community contribution. So I think these two gaming genre has a very great fit to be onboarded to the fully on-chain gaming.
Thanks, Wise. I did not expect that genre to be mentioned during the space tonight. It cracks me up. Next, I'm going to pass it to the Cats Lab and then Dojewalk.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. I think that the balance is the key in this question. I mean, as White said, right now it's too early because, we are early on this. So I think that the full decentralization across all the game genres, can be complex right now, and without compromising, for example, the gameplay or the player engagement. So, but we can work where the decentralization can work in blockchain games. And what we have right now, the in-game assets, so the NFTs. So decentralization is particularly effective when it comes to in-game asset ownership via non-fungible tokens, right? So NFTs are unique tokens that can represent items or character in a game. So we can push here, or blockchain-based economies. So where decentralization is effective in-game economies. So you can, I don't know, trade items or get currencies, and you can earn meanwhile you play by trade items, or DAOs. So you can run a game with a DAO. So the DAO members can choose what's next update for the games, be active in the developments of the game. We can push when the blockchain is really effective right now, and keep that situation where the game can be, in difficulties with the Web3 technologies, and keep centralized. So I think that game developers should decide which aspect of, decentralization align better with their game's goal, and without sacrificing the core gameplay experience, so the overall. So a good balance right now is the best way. I'm not for the full decentralization right now. If I want to have fun and of course have a smooth game experience, you know. So that's my point of view. I missed the earlier question, bro. So probably I will answer after Dodge.
Yeah, you mentioned DAOs. Don't get me started on DAOs in games, but we'll touch on that question later. Dojwalk.
Thanks. So we all know the blockchain trilemma, which is, among scalability, safety, and decentralization, it's impossible to achieve all of them. So clearly, the answer to this question is if we are focusing on scalability and safety at the beginning for the games, then it's really, really hard. It's impossible to completely decentralize everything at this point. I'm a true believer in decentralization. Of course, I'm a true believer in blockchain and I want that to be applied across the board. But just at this point of time, when we only have a very limited amount of assets and capital and TVL in Web3, we can't really do decentralization. At least can't do complete decentralization until most of the mainstream get start to adopt this type of interaction. However, I think for as a beginning, I think that the most disruptive thing about Web3 or decentralization is really about the ownership. So I think it's wise who mentioned asset ownership. And of course, governance as well. Governance is related to DAO, and I know we're going to talk about that a little later. But in terms of asset ownership, we think the single token model will not work anymore. And we've seen that with Axie Infinity, we've seen that with Step N. People really just, they start to interact with the game just to earn. However, if it's a dual currency model, so for example, you have an in-game token and that's centralized, and that's your currency, that's what you use to interact in the game, to acquire assets, etc., etc. That just stays in game, and that's not listed. That will not be traded, instantly, like all the listed tokens. At the same time, you also should have a platform token, and that's representing ownership. And we want to give ownership to our early adopters, to early contributors, and that's what Web3 is about. For everyone to have ownership if they adopt the game early on, and that should be listed and traded, and people should be benefiting from that. So that works together with the in-game token. The in-game token should be, somehow be able to convert it to the platform token. In that way, we can give a balance to the decentralization and centralization, and at the same time keep the speed and efficiency and the gameplay and all that. So that's what we think, and that's the model we're leaning towards.
Thanks. And I'm happy you brought up, the dual token models and even triple token models. We all know, looking at single token models, that it's just not sustainable, and most of the time, actually 100% of the time, it'll end up in the death spiral, which is not good for anybody. Luna, I see your hand up. You're next.
Sure, thank you. I think before we talk about decentralized, all those gaming or on-chain gaming, because there's a lot of hit games. It's on-chain, and then suddenly turns to be a trend. But for me, I think that's still gonna be a trend. But there's also some people mention like this is like looks like an impossible eternity to reaching out the goal. From my perspective, I think I can share some part of views to several aspects. Maybe we can working on that trend. And I think I saw a lot of projects they are trying to working on that part. First of all, I think it's like as I mentioned, like ownership and in-game asset, because I think all on-chain games is gonna allow the user to have all those assets, and also every each of most of the gaming, they talk about the asset, and if you have different, or that is very rare to get, and then on-chain game, that's gonna be a way for your user or players to feel that it's very precious to have those tokens or NFTs from your games. That's maybe probably it could be a way. And then I think Dodge mentioned already, which I want to also share a little bit. It's about the DAOs, and people and also players can participate in the governance for your game and to do the in-game decisions and then you actually tends to all those players to be your community members and to have the chance to propose and vote on those changes on the game. Of course, that's going to be make the game more funny, but still always bring more challenges for those projects who need design all those logics to fulfill the whole logistics and stuff. So I think this two part is quite much more about from my side.
Thanks, Luna. And, touching on DAOs, it brings us right to our next question. And that's for DAO governance in games. What are some successful models you have seen, and what has made them successful? I'm going to keep my thoughts on DAOs to the end here. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Yeah. Okay, since no one's speaking, I'm gonna put. Eric, go ahead, bud.
Yeah, sure. I'll step in on this one. So I think Illuvium and some of how they've gone about, structuring their governance around the game, a game that's really quite ambitious. I think that's one to look at as a potential success. Obviously, they're still early in development there, but it's one that has brought in a lot of funds and has a pretty well structured governance system. And I think that's where a lot of DAOs fall short, is they have the basis there, but they lack some of the details required for proposing and implementing decisions, which can be very complex, right? But I do think there is broader promise, and it was kind of touched on in from some of the previous speakers with regards to this kind of decentralization within gaming and the ability to take gamers who are already stakeholders in the games because they play them for fun, but wrapping them into top level stakeholders like an investor would be in a public game development studio. So giving them this stakeholder capacity in which they actually play a role in decision making, I think is really something that could take off, and particularly too in like competitive gaming where we're lacking, right? Like where there's still this disconnect and perception issue that I talked about earlier. Because when you look at competitive gaming, you have people that are playing as professionals now and earning a living. But you also have this other segment of people that are playing just below a professional level, but are influencers or, streamers, content creators, and those types of things. And many of them need to pull from multiple revenue sources to kind of support themselves. And I think having, these competitive games set up in these decentralized manners where they can earn for winning in these games can help to, support a broader set than just that 1% that is finding success in general in content creation, in streaming, and in competitive gameplay. And you can get a lot more people playing games almost full time or as side gigs and earning and not just play to earn, but because they're good at a competitive game and it's well governed and structured. So that's one of my hopes, that we see something like this play out in the next few years.
Eric, what a great take, man. I really like that take, actually. That's awesome, especially on the competitive gaming side. Cat's Lab.
Yeah, it got me too, bro. It got me too with the competitive, because we as I said, we have to focus on the good point we have. So we have to put competition, we have to put engagement, we have to put fun, and meanwhile, automatically people will earn. But how to lead them to this process? So who never seen a Web3 situation? Of course, we'll have difficulties. So once we have a void, of or reduce the number of people that don't know, that are not aware about the Web3 opportunities and how to in the Web3, we are going to get the real result on the Web3 gaming, because they are going to have something, and of course they know how to use. Because let me be sure and honest, guys. So when I download a game, if I have to do too much steps, I'm gonna uninstall the game. You know what I mean? I have to download, play, let's see if I have fun, and I go. So too many mechanics in the early stage, will let you abort the game. You will leave, and we have to keep the engagement, because how many of you play 1,000 of games, one right after the other? So what's the point here? So we have a lot to work and push on the things that the blockchain can bring back to the community, but we have to put a really big effort on teach everyone here on how to, or simplify. That I think is the best deal. So developer will have to really work hard on this. So simplify the user interface, simplifies the process, like creating a new account, you know what I mean? But behind the button, there's the blockchain code, you know what I mean? The instruction, the transaction, stuff like that. It's a really big dream for me. Will be amazing. That day we are gonna boom so bad.
Thank you, Catslab. And Vitalis, for DAO governance in games, what are some successful models you've seen, and what has made them successful?
Unfortunately, I wanted to add some DAO skepticism, to be honest, because I
Hey, that's fine.
personally,
That's fine. You're speaking my language.
yeah, so I personally do not see DAO as a successful form of governance, and for games as well. So I see a lot of negative factors, and probably during the early stage, I'm 100% against DAO at all, because if project is not mature enough, DAO usually lacks of a strategic vision, and it requires strong founding team and persistency to build something good. And for the next stage, when project, whether it be game or any other project, is mature enough, I think that it's basically interesting idea to implement some decentralization in decision making. However, it is important to do it step by step. I think that in corporate world, IPO is a similar structure. So basically, when companies are non-public, their decision making is very centralized. When companies are becoming public, their decision making is becoming more decentralized and more transparent. However, in many cases, kind of key investors are still controlling the business, and the same is very likely going to happen with games as well. So not users voting and have voting power, but still investors have major power. And I also know it an example of a couple of Web3 games as well. So I think that DAO is probably a good tool to solve some small issues and small problems, not to spend management resources on it. However, it is an effective tool for some bigger stuff and strategic vision.
Yeah, I guess I kind of want to add on a little bit. I think DAOs kind of move a little bit too slowly, especially for games where changes need to happen quite often, especially, say first-person shooters or MOBAs or anything that's super competitive and needs, and then can have models that can uh, can be easily exploited, and the changes need to be made. I don't think the direction of DAO should be implemented for mechanics of this nature. But I think DAOs are great for the community to to give the community a voice in say things like seasonal directions, right? What kind of story would you like to see for the next season? What kind of cosmetics would you like to see? What kind of I think DAOs would operate really great on games if they're given a choice from the devs, instead of them coming up with their own choices. I think devs should take the feedback and take that feedback and give the DAO community, the community, a choice of what to implement based on the feedback. So you can choose from three different things. For example, what would you guys like to see the most? I think that's a good way to implement DAOs, but to give them full on power and decision making too early. Or it just goes a little slow. It just moves too slowly and can actually hinder adoption. But that's just my opinion, you guys. Um, Moving forward to our next question here. And before we get into this question, a little bit of a room reset. If you guys are enjoying the space so far, give all of our speakers a follow today. Retweet the room, leave some comments about your thoughts about what's being said today. And again, don't forget to follow our panelists. They're taking the time out of their day today. Kim's taking time out of his sleep schedule to be here. So really, least you guys could do is give us all and the panel a follow. So, next question is assuming a game is fun, what factors of blockchain technology can benefit the players as well as the devs in extending retention and social aspects? Cat's Lab and then Kim.
Yeah, sorry. For the players, I think the true ownership of the in-game asset, for example, the NFTs again. So blockchain allow players to own real in-game assets, so in the form of the NFTs. This means that the items or the resource earned in the game are truly their property. So they are recorded on the blockchain, digital property. And this has a real value. And of course, you can trade and sold on secondary marketplace or I don't know whenever you want. So you can make also profit from there, and these bring concrete value and to the holder. Then I can have the interoperability, so you can. Some blockchain allow you, I don't know if you know, to interoperable across different games and platform. You know, your digital asset you can use in other project, in other game project, like we are doing, and we want to do in the future. So we are going to have partnership in this kind of way, and decentralized in-game economies, as we said, the transparency. So the blockchain record everything. So everything permanently and transparently. So this means player that can monitor everything. And for this was only for players or also for the dev side, Alex?
The question goes for both sides.
Both sides. So for the development, as you said, for example, me, I'm building something, I'm building my community, I'm asking and hearing from the community to bring back the best product, you know, the product they want. So for a developer, can be useful to create his own server and have his own community that then will lead to his own game, but guided by the community. So he's gonna sell something that people really want in the way they want. So they are going to build their game with their dev, and they can monetize. Of course, they work because you can create NFTs and sell to raise funds to develop your project. So I think the Web3 offer a lot of benefits from both sides, and many are objective, many are subjective. You know, so the overall for me is green for both sides.
Thank you, Cat's Lab. Wise Kim.
Yeah, I think the very straightforward value that blockchain technology benefits both devs and the player is for the devs, like they can ensure the transparency of the gaming data because in Korea there were some issues between gamers and the gaming companies about the transparency. Like the most famous one is the Maple Story, one of the most famous game in Korea. They have manipulated the most expensive gacha items. So so the stat has been manipulated when they use the item. However, like using the blockchain itself, they can mitigate this kind of trust issues. And for the users, like ownership and this permissionless environment offers users to exchange their assets freely. without getting scammed. But like assuming the game is fun itself, like retention and the social aspects, it's already guaranteed, right? But using the blockchain, I think this kind of social activities and increasing retentions, it can be extended on if the users get aligned to the core value of the blockchain, like granting ownership to themselves.
Thank you, Kim. And bringing up Maple Story, what a throwback! I still have some of my boys in the Discord grinding out Maple Story. What a what a game to bring up, dude.
Yeah,
Love it.
I've been grinding
Um,
since 14.
yeah, dude. The boy, it's crazy. If you love Maple Story back in the day, you're gonna love it today. Next, we pass it to Doge Walk.
Thank you, Alex. I know we are kind of running out of time, so I will just say something really quickly. So for us, I think we really uh, like the blockchain technology to be applied more towards, how to help us to keep our promises. I think the speakers already mentioned, it's very helpful in terms of transparency, but also like for all the other projects in Web2, right? Even for public companies, how do you keep your promises to give back to the community and also reward your early contributors? And there are not so much. So smart contract obviously can help us to keep our promise there. For example, in terms of our tokens, we're not listed yet, the platform token. However, we issued a voucher actually through something called semi-fungible token. So it's in between fungible token and NFTs. It's basically a voucher for our platform token. And people can trade that right now, and there's liquidity there. But just because we want to build our product and have a high level of engagement with our users first, and then list our token, and that's a natural logic there, right? Because you don't want to just tell a story and list your token and then run. No one wants to do that anymore. It's already a very bad reputation for Web3, and that's why we choose to list our token later on and have a voucher for people to be able to get some liquidity if they choose to. And because of that technology, we are able to be very transparent, and people know it's a smart contract. It's going to execute on its own in a couple of months, and people can redeem that automatically. So I think that's one thing that blockchain really is benefiting us. And another thing is obviously infrastructure. With ZK and OP, the gas fee is going to be reduced, and I think with that, with more and more technology within blockchain, more innovations, if you will, it's going to lower the barrier more and more.
Thank you, Dojwalk. And Luna, I saw your hand up. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I because I just noticed our time is almost running out. So I think from my side, I just want to add two part for players. I think for this benefits in the beginning, when we talk about this, it's we always thinking or talk about the earning money opportunities and all those early adopters or earlier players in Web3, they can earn tokens by joining the games. I think this is the biggest benefits in the beginning, and then of course after this one, like play to earn all those model, after running several rounds, the challenges turns back to the developer side, and also of course blockchain brings more benefits to our developers, which I think our speakers, everyone's mentioned. No matter it's incentive, the structures or the communities, I think quite agree with that one. But one more things is like I think for the developers, we still need to focus more on the player-driven content. That's always the key, and also the business mod, because now people are quite tired for the play to earn, and we focus on more challenging and more high quality games now launching on Web3. So I think the benefits teaser are gonna be higher compared to beginning. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Luna, for answering our final question of the space tonight. So I'm going to wrap it up. I always like to keep these within an hour, just for the sake of everybody's time, for the sake of Wise Kim's sleep schedule, and my sleep schedule. So I just want to thank you guys all for coming in tonight, and joining our space. I think we had some really great takes tonight from some really great speakers, especially about actually what aspects of blockchain should be adopted for Web3 games at this current time and the future going forward. Now, with that being said, if you haven't followed our panelists yet, now's your time. Give them all a follow, and see what they're building and see what they're getting up to, right? I always like to bring high quality speakers onto these spaces, and tonight we're packed full of them. So if you want to be involved with what they're doing, check it out. And with that being said, we're going to do another space next week. I haven't decided the topic yet, but I got one cooking in my mind. So stay tuned for next week's space. Just in the sake of my sleep schedule as well, I'm going to be changing up the time a little bit. So you can expect it a little bit later if you're North America, and a little bit more in the morning if you are in Asia, like I am right now. So you guys stay tuned for that. I'll make some announcements there. And again, thank you everybody for joining. Wise Kim, The Cats Lab, Lettertop, Vitalis, Dojewalk, Luna, Eric. Thank you guys so much for joining. You guys were great tonight.
Thank you, sir.
And
Thank you. Thank you.
yes, let's go. So thank you guys, and we will see you next week.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.